Do y'all see this beautiful, delicious looking oxtails? I'm gonna show y'all how to make them real quick, okay? So this is just how I clean them with some lime. I just kind of scrape them all, and then you really got to get in there with it though. I use a couple limes, but you can't really see it here. Then I just squeeze the juice, and then I pour off all the water, and I rinse it and rinse it until the water runs clear, okay? So once the water runs clear, you're just gonna season it with all these seasonings. As you guys already know, I do not measure, but I do put all the ingredients in the description below. So if you missed anything, you will be able to see it down there. Okay, and be very generous with the seasonings, y'all, because it's gonna be in a pot full of liquid and it's just all gonna kind of rinse off a little bit, okay? So about 3 teaspoons of minced garlic. Alright, so now we're just gonna mix that all in. Get it coated in the meat real good, because we are about to marinate this for about 8 hours, because I took a nap. For 8 hours, yeah, I took a nap. So put it in this plastic bag, get all the juices, all of it. And then we are just going to add some green onion. Alright, close it up, mix it up, and give it a good shake, and then we're just going to put it in the fridge and let it marinate. You can marinate this for 1 hour to however many hours you want. I just did that because I went to sleep. So these are just the seasonings again. Okay, and this is the wine that I use. This cheap oak leaf red Merlot vineyard wine. Okay, y'all, it's very cheap. So I'm gonna just cut all my vegetables and I'm gonna dice them up. The only thing I'm not dicing is the celery, okay? So with the celery, we're just gonna cut off the little floury parts. And then once everything is cut and cut open, then we're just gonna clean it. Once it's clean, then we're gonna go into cutting it. So this is just how small I dice mine. And we're just gonna do that for all the bell peppers, okay? The tomatoes, I'll leave them fairly big just because I like big chunks of tomatoes. So I do not dice the tomatoes. And also for the celery, we're gonna do this in big chunks as well. Just like that. Okay? So now we are gonna cut the onion, and the onion will also be diced. Okay, so now we're just going to add some olive oil to our cast iron pot. This is the meat. After it's been marinated, just going to add it to the pan. And right now what we're going to do is just sear it on both sides just to get it, you know, a little brown. A nice sear on it. So I would say do this for 4 to 5 minutes on both sides, just to get a good sear, just depending on the kind of pot you're using. Just get a good browning on it, okay? So then you're going to take them out, and then we're going to add the tomatoes. Now you have all your seasonings down there at the bottom, so make sure that y'all scrape that up before you don't want it to burn down there with the seasonings down there like that, okay? So now we're just going to add all of our veggies and the onions. Okay, so we're going to use 1 cup of wine, red wine, or a little bit more just because I don't like to measure. So, and then we just gonna put the lid on just until it starts to boil. And then we're gonna add some more seasonings to the actual pot. Alright, once that's added, we have a cup of flour, and I just use a little bit at first just to get it all mixed in, and then just keep putting a little bit at a time. Okay, so once that's all mixed in, it should be starting to get really thick. So now we're going to add our beef broth. I actually only use 1 box of beef broth this time, so give that a good mix, and then we're just going to put the meat back in, okay? Okay, so now once you have everything added, you have to turn this all the way down, like to low. Put the lid on and let it sit for 4 hours, and then I chopped up some parsley just for garnish. Once it started to boil again, you have to go and check on it about every hour just to make sure that it's not getting stuck to the bottom of the pan. And then I like my celery to be not so soft, so we're about 2 hours in. I'm adding a little bit more water, add my celery, and now I'm gonna let this cook for 2 more hours. Alright, come back. It hasn't been 2 hours yet, but I wanted to add some soy sauce. So add a little bit of soy sauce, mix it up, make sure you scrape the bottom every time you check. And then I did let it cook for 2 more hours after that. So a total of 4 hours total. And this is how tender. With some garlic mashed potatoes, and I do have the recipe for that in the description below.